Welcome. In today's video, we are going to cover Chapter 1, What is Economics? Let's consider the scenario on the screen and try to answer the question, in what ways do people cope with the problem of scarcity? A storm has damaged the main highway leading to your town, so there have been no deliveries of essential or even non-essential items to the neighborhood stores. Some people are running out of certain things they need or want. Others have lost electric power, and some have no running water. On the screen is a list of things that you have that some of your neighbors are looking for. For each item, explain at least one way you think is the best and perhaps fairest to distribute these items among your neighbors. These items include 1 loaf of bread, 1 bicycle, an assortment of handyman tools in 1 toolbox, 1 bottle of aspirin, 1 half-full bottle of antiseptic and 10 cotton balls, 2 1-gallon jugs of bottled water, 1 smartphone, 3 blankets, 10 towels, 1 MP3 player. At the end of this video, come back and think about the fairest and best way to distribute the items among your neighbors. Now let's talk about scarcity and what we're going to say is economics. Very few people are satisfied with what they have. An example is someone who lives in an apartment. Eventually they want to move out of their apartment and they want to buy a home. Someone who already has a house eventually decides they want a bigger house. So they're not satisfied with what they have. Another example, your phone. Many of you probably have a smartphone and you want the newest smartphone, or you want a different smartphone. Even though your smartphone might answer calls, send text, and even browse the web, you want something different. So very few people are satisfied with what they have. Scarcity is the condition that results from society not having enough resources to produce all the things that people would like to have. Economics is the study of how people try to satisfy seemingly unlimited and competing needs and wants through the careful use of relatively scarce resources. Consider this example. In some parts of Africa, power conservation is mandatory. There just isn't enough to meet the consumption demand. When the energy consumption fluctuates, there are alerts that are presented on television screens with instructions to citizens telling citizens what electronic items they must turn off. It would look something like this. Switch off, and then either lights, if you're in the United States you might have a pool pump, water heat, something like that, other items that take electricity. Now let's talk about needs and wants. A need is a basic requirement for survival, food, clothing, shelter. And a want is something that we would like to have but is not necessary. Is all food a need or a want? Are there foods that are more of a want? Think in your head of some of those items that might be a need or just might be a want. Do many foods satisfy the need for nourishment? If they do, does that make them more of a want? So are the wants a wider range of the wants rather than needs? Because a lot of foods, or even now we have protein shakes and protein bars and all these other items that are and vitamins that you can buy. And pills, now are more of those things a want rather than a need? Needs and wants are expressed in terms of economic products. Let's first talk about what a good is. A good is a tangible economic product. So if it's tangible means you can touch it. It's useful. You can transfer it to others, so you can give it to someone else, or it can be exchanged. and it's used to satisfy wants and needs. We have 4 types of goods. One is what we call a durable good. A durable good lasts 3 years or more when used on a regular basis. Robot welders, tractors, car batteries, your cell phone, if used on a regular basis, a car, a house, anything that's used on a regular basis that will last 3 years or more. A non-durable good, then, is an item that lasts for fewer than 3 years when used on a regular basis. Food, even a canned good. The can can last a long time, but what's inside that can, when used, usually cannot be used again. So it's used on a regular basis. If you can't use it again, or it doesn't last for 3 years or more, it is a non-durable. The piece of paper that you might be taking notes on right now is a non-durable. Most clothing items, if you wear socks or you wear jeans on a regular basis, within 3 years you're probably going to need to replace, or they definitely won't be the same as they were before. A capital good is a tool or good, machinery or equipment that is used by businesses to produce other products. It's not the final product. A consumer good is something that is intended for final use by individuals. Shoes, shirts, automobiles. If you and I can go touch it and have it transferred to us, that is a consumer good. A service is work that is performed for someone. The difference between a good and a service is that a service usually can't be touched. Services will include haircuts, home repairs, and concerts, comedy shows, other forms of entertainment, movies. Those are services. Goods and services are given a value. Values are something that have a worth in dollars and cents. Movie tickets have a value. You have to go and buy a movie ticket. You give either your credit card, debit card, or cash in order to pay for something. So it has a dollars and cents value to it. If you go to a concert, it has a dollars and cents value. If you want to buy goods such as food or land or anything like that, it has a dollars and cents value to it. Adam Smith is a philosopher and economist who in 1776 wrote a book called The Wealth of Nations. This refers specifically to the ability and skills of a nation's people as a source of its wealth. He was a free market advocate because he believed that free market economies were more productive and more beneficial to society. Adam Smith is considered the classic presenter of what we call the paradox of value. It's also known as the theory of value. The paradox of value is the apparent contradiction between the high value of a non-essential item and the low value of an essential item. The classic example of the paradox of value is always the diamond and water. Diamonds usually are high value. You have to go and you pay quite a bit of money to buy a diamond. But is a diamond an essential item? Do you have to have it for survival? Water is a less essential or less valued item, but more essential. We need water for survival. But because there is more water in the world, we have less inclination to actually pay for this water and pay more for it. Diamonds, there are fewer diamonds, so we actually have more inclination to spend more money on something that is fewer but we want compared to what we need. Scarcity alone can't explain how something gets its value. Utility is the capacity to be useful and provide satisfaction. there is something called a utility infielder in baseball. And that person or player is able to play more than one position. So they are now useful and can provide satisfaction because they can help the team win. Wealth is the accumulation of products that are tangible, scarce, have utility, and are transferable from one person to another. So when we discuss a person's wealth, we are talking about everything that they own. If they do not have it paid off, it is not theirs. Someone can come and take it away from them. If they have it and they own it, it is theirs. They have paid for it. That is part of their wealth. And so it's not just money itself. It's anything that is touchable or tangible, scarce, has utility, and transferable from one person to another. Lastly, let's talk about TINSTAAFL. There is no such thing as a free lunch. In this cartoon, we have a gentleman standing at a counter at SubZone. And in this cartoon, he mentions that he has a rewards card that's all filled up. He had to drive 20 miles out of his way for 3 months, but he earned the complimentary sandwich. And then he said, who says there's no such thing as a free lunch? Is it a free lunch? Did he pay? Is he paying for it now? No. But did he drive 20 miles out of his way? So he had to spend money on gas. He had to spend time and effort just to get a complimentary sandwich. So this concludes the first part of Chapter 1, What is Economics? Remember, go back to the beginning of the video and think about and look at the scenario that was provided to now that we have started the process of finding out what is economics. And stay tuned for more videos throughout the semester explaining economics.